Welcome back, everyone, and I'm here again with SBR contributor Jeff Grant, and today we're going to be covering some NFL games, and the game that we're looking at is the Dallas Cowboys going up against the Chicago Bears. How you doing today, Jeff?
Doing fantastic, Dax, because this is a Thursday night game that I'm actually intrigued about, and also it's important to point out that both Dallas and Chicago have a full week's of rest as both lost on Thanksgiving Day.
Major disappointments, man, that past Thanksgiving games. But let's talk about the Cowboys in this case. Now, they've won all 5 games outside of Jerryland, but do you actually think that the boys can remain perfect on the road despite Tony Romo's 13-18 regular season record in the months of December and January, Jeff?
There's a few things to look at, Dax, when handicapping this game from the Dallas Cowboys standpoint. Everybody was talking about that defense early on in the season. As a team has not been able to control the football as much as it has in the past, that number of yards allowed per game is starting to creep up. Just to put it in perspective, everybody thinks Chicago's defense is much worse than Dallas. That simply isn't the case. The Cowboys are allowing 364.1 yards per game versus Chicago at 376.2. Also, when you look at those road games, you look at the fact of when they played these particular teams. The first road game against Tennessee, a terrible football team at the time. The St. Louis Rams, not even close to playing the type of football they've been playing recently. They caught the Seattle Seahawks, probably in the best week to catch Seattle in the entire 2014 campaign. Of course, that victory against Jacksonville was in London overseas. And then finally, they had to put everything together in the final 15 minutes to outlast a bad New York Giants football team. So, yes, the Cowboys have the best record away from home, but there's a lot of holes in that record.
Yeah, no doubt, but at least they got a good running game. Anyways, man, let's talk about the Bears right now. Now, like I said, they were a huge disappointment last week in Motor City on Thanksgiving Day. So, taking that into account, man, do you think that the Bears are fade material from here on out?
Yeah, you mentioned that running game, Dax, and I want to touch on that is the fact that DeMarco Murray, I expect him to regress over the rest of the season, and he's facing a team that ranks 10th in the NFL and allowing just 105.5 rushing yards per game. Of course, all the Bears' problems are trying to defend the pass, and that's why Chicago needs to get back to running the football. So I'm not sure that the Bears are going to be fade material in this game or the rest of the season. I'm going to point out a few things in the fact that Matt Forte, in his last 8 home games, averages 149 yards per game from scrimmage. The problem with the Bears, though, they get pass happy. They're 28th in the league in rush attempts per game. But when you look, I think this is a big game for Chicago and a big last 4 games for the Bears trying to build something heading into 2015. They host Dallas. They host New Orleans. They host Detroit. Those are 3 teams playing for playoff spots, and then they go on the road against the division rival, the Minnesota Vikings. So I think the Bears will be motivated for this contest, so I'm not exactly sure they're fade material.
Do you actually think that they could be in the wild card hunt, man?
I wouldn't go that far with Jay Cutler, but I'll tell you, Jay Cutler likes facing the Cowboys. 2-0, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in those games, and the main reason why I'm going to back the Bears in this contest getting the 4 points is you look at Chicago's losses this season. They come against teams that have very good turnover margins. You look at Detroit, +4, 2 losses against Green Bay. They lead the league in turnover margin. The New England Patriots are 2nd in turnover margin. The Miami Dolphins also have a plus turnover margin. The Buffalo Bills, surprisingly, have a +9 turnover margin. The only team that it's lost to that's had a negative turnover margin was on the road against the Carolina Panthers. What do the Dallas Cowboys bring to the table, Dax? -3 in turnover margin. So I'm going to grab the points with the Bears against the Cowboys.
All right, sounds good. And Jeff, as always, man, thanks for all the valuable insights, and we'll talk some more football again tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man. For SBR Picks, this is Dax Floyd.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.